In this video, I'm going to show an example of where you could use the Extrude Intersect command. But before we get to that, I wanted to let you know about a video series that I created for Autodesk that they just published on their YouTube channel, all about intent-driven design. I'll link to it at the end of this video, but I highly recommend that you watch it. It's a 4-part series where I cover part design, assembly design, and hybrid design, and explain the benefits and the uses for each. So with that, let's dive right in. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how you could go about creating this clip part inside of Fusion. I'll also share some tips and tricks on different methodologies that you could use. One of the first things that you'll notice is that it actually is a radial part. So it's quite round, but then it also has this flat section on the top and bottom. And that's where I'm going to use the Extrude Intersect command. So I'm going to go through step by step how I'd create this part, and I actually have a drawing here that I'm going to be referencing. Some of the key features here are there's 3 different sections here that you can kind of see, 0.48, 0.35, and 0.35 with different lengths for each of these. And I'm going to use what I call the wedding cake example, where we're basically going to stack layers on top of each other to build the 3D model. Instead of drawing a complex side profile and revolving it, I'm actually going to basically create cylindrical primitives stacked on top of each other, and then use that to create the 3D model. So I'm going to start with this 0.48 by 0.83. So I'll create a new design. In this case, I'll do a hybrid. I want to make sure I'm in inch because that's what the drawing is in. And I'll create a new component. And we'll just call this long axle. And the first tip is I'm going to use the cylinder primitive. Instead of having to create sketches and circles and dimension all those, I can use simple primitives. So I'm going to pick the cylinder primitive, and I'm going to pick the side plane since it kind of goes lengthwise. So I'm going to click on this side plane, pick the center point, and my first diameter is 0.48. Then I'll type in the length of 0.83. And here's kind of our first layer of our cake. Now, yes, it's laying on the side. You can imagine it being vertical, but I'm going to keep it oriented on the side. Then I'm going to create the next cylindrical profile on this face right here. Again, catching to the center. And this diameter is 0.35, and the length is 0.67. So you can kind of see how we've basically like stacked another layer of cake on top of that first one. And then for the end of it, I'll use the cylinder primitive one more time. On this face, grab the center, 0.5 for the diameter, and 0.14 for the length. So you can see very quickly how I was able to create these 3 primitives and not have to use any sketches, dimensions, etc. Now I'll do the same thing on this other side. We'll say cylinder, 0.35, 0.44 for the length. I'll repeat my last command just by right-clicking and dragging straight up. This one is 0.5 and a length of 0.14. And now we have the basic shape of our axle. So we started with this one here, then we did the 0.35, then we did this 0.5 section right here. That's 0.14. Then I came over here and did the 0.35 by 0.44, and then the 0.5 by 0.14. So we built those cylinders very quickly. So the next thing I'm going to do is add in these chamfers, and I'll talk about why I'm doing them now before I do the flat. So if I do them now, you'll see that there's just one edge. So if I click on this edge, right mouse click and say chamfer, and type in 0.1, it's going to do that whole edge. However, if we were to have removed, that flat section on the top and the bottom, then there would be an edge over here, and an edge over here. So I'd have to select 2 edges. In fact, in reality, I'd have to select 4 edges because there'd be 2 over here and 2 over here. So by doing the chamfer first, I'm having to select less edges. So I'm going to do my 0.1 chamfer on those edges. So I just did this chamfer. And now here's kind of where the magic happens. I want to create this flat section. Now you can see here that the thickness of the part is 0.234. And you might think, oh, you could use like split body, which you absolutely could. But we're going to use a cool command called Extrude Intersect. I'm going to create a sketch on this front plane. I'll zoom up. And I'm going to use the center rectangle command. So I just clicked on rectangle in the main menu, and in my sketch palette, it brings up the 3 different types of rectangles that I can use. So I'm going to say center rectangle. I'll grab my center point here, and the important dimension is the height that's currently highlighted in blue. And I want that to be 0.234. I'll go ahead and tab to my other dimension, and now you can see that the 0.234 is locked into place. And now it's asking for a width. And honestly, the width doesn't matter. But to fully constrain my sketch, I should probably type something in. So I'm just going to type in 1 inch in this case. And if I were to expand, open my component and then my sketches, I can see, sure enough, my sketch is locked or fully constrained. I'll finish my sketch. And then I'm going to select these 3 profiles. I'll right mouse click and it shows me the command that makes sense. And again, you've heard me say this in other videos. I really like the pre-selection and then right mouse click because it shows you the commands that make sense. So in this case, it says extrude. If I were to drag to the right, it would add material. If I were to drag to the left, we can see that it's going to cut material away in this operation right here. But if I click on this down arrow, you'll see a command in here called intersect. We're probably very familiar with join and cut, but intersect keeps the material that's inside the profile. So you can start to see what it's doing. It's actually basically splitting the top and the bottom off and keeping what's inside our rectangle. Now, how far do I need to go? Well, instead of typing in a distance, in fact, I don't even know what the overall distance is, I'm going to say go all the way. And that way, if we were ever to change the length of our long axle here, this intersect will always go all the way through. So this is a really cool kind of a tip to create a shape like this where you're wanting to keep what's inside the profile instead of removing with the profile like we typically do with a cut. So I'll go ahead and say OK, and we're now left with this particular shape. Let's take a look at the drawing, and I would say the next biggest thing are these slot features here. We can see that they're 0.7 from the end of the part to the end of the slot for both of these, and they're 0.2 in width. So I'll create a sketch on this top face. Go ahead and flip this around so it's kind of pointing in the correct direction here. I like to project, that way I know I'm catching to geometry. So I'm going to project this top face here. And we can see these little purple lines and purple dots signifying that that face has been projected. So I'm going to use the slot command, and I'm going to do a center to center slot. And I'm just going to randomly pick 2 points. So maybe something like here, and maybe a point like right here on that edge. And now it's asking for the diameter, and I know the diameter is 0.2. Now I want this slot to be perfectly centered, so I'm going to use the midpoint constraint, grab the midpoint of this arc here, and then click on this line. We can see how that kind of jumped down a little bit. So now I need to dimension the length of this slot. So I'll use the dimension tool, I'll click on this point here, and then I'll click on this arc. But when I do that, you'll notice that it dimensions to the center point of that arc. And if I right mouse click, you'll see why. It's going to the arc center. So instead, what I'm going to do is say dimension, click on that point, then before I click over here, I'm going to right mouse click and say arc tangent. Then I can click on this arc over here, and now you can see the dimension is going from the start point over here to the edge of our slot, which is what the drawing is requiring. So I'm going to say 0.7, I'll hit enter, and we can now see that slot is the correct length. So I'll do the same thing over here. I'll do a center to center slot. Again, I'm going to kind of randomly pick up here in space, like so. Type in the correct diameter of 0.2. Use the midpoint command to make that in the middle of that line. Dimension from that point, right mouse click, arc tangent. Now here's another tip. I want these two slots to be the same length. So instead of typing in 0.7, I can come over here and click on that dimension. It's going to reference it. So when I hit enter, you can see it says 0.7. And what's nice about that is if I were to change this to be 1, you'll see that that one also changes to be 1. So instead of having to type in 2 dimensions, change that to be 1 and then change that to be 1, by referencing the existing dimension, you only have to change one of them. Okay, I'm going to finish my sketch because it's fully constrained. I can see that in my sketches folder. Now, if I zoom up on here, I can see there's a little tiny segment. So I need to be really careful when I pick this profile. I also want to go ahead and pick that profile there to make sure it's selecting both of these and it's getting that little segment right there, that little triangle. I'll say extrude. I like to start to drag to see which direction. We're going in the negative direction. Now how far? I have a couple options. I could say all, which would work because there's nothing in the way. Or I also could have said to object and just clicked on that face, and it's going to always extrude to that face. Either one would have worked in this case. I'll go ahead and say OK, and we now have those slots. And then the last thing, according to the drawing, is there's a 0.02 chamfer on these edges. It's kind of hard to see, but right there. So I'll pre-select my edge, right mouse click. It shows me the commands that make sense. I'll pick chamfer, type in 0.02, and then I want to control my selection. In fact, you'll notice on my mouse cursor it says hold control to modify selection. So I'm going to hold down my control key, and I can click this edge over here. I let go of my control key. We can see what that looks like. I'll come over here, hold down my control key, select these 2 edges, and I now have all 4 edges selected and getting chamfered all at the same time. And just like that, we are now done with this long axle, or this clip looking part, which could have taken a long time if we were to draw this side profile. And I don't even know how you would create these curved parts. That would have obviously taken some time. You probably would have had to use some kind of a revolve. We could have used a split body, but I would have had to created a plane through the middle and then figured out the offset distance of half of 0.234 in both directions and then removed the difference. So you can see using the Extrude Intersect command is actually a pretty powerful method to create this kind of a part. I hope you learned something new and enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you've hit like and subscribe. That way you'll be notified of upcoming videos. If you'd like to learn more about Fusion, make sure you visit my webpage at cadedllc.com. And as always, have fun learning Fusion.